Every October, the world dresses in shadows, streets glow with carved pumpkins, children roam in costumes, and the night itself feels thinner, as if something is pressing against it from the other side. But Halloween, or nights like it, is not just an American tradition. It has roots and reflections all around the world, and many of these customs are far older, far darker, and far stranger than the candy and costumes we know today. Before we descend into these haunted traditions, let me ask you this: do you love creepy stories, eerie legends, and the darker side of history? Then make sure you subscribe right now, because here we dive deep into the rituals that make the shadows restless. And tonight, you will learn of 10 terrifying traditions of Halloween from around the world. It all begins with Samhain, in ancient Ireland and Scotland, where the night of October 31st was no party. It was survival. Samhain marked the end of the harvest, the death of summer, and the belief that on this night, the dead crossed back into the world of the living. Bonfires roared on the hillsides, sacrifices were offered, and people wore frightening disguises not for fun, but to trick wandering spirits into thinking they were already among the dead. Imagine the dark moors of Ireland, cloaked in fog, with villagers dancing in animal skins around a fire that burned like a sun against the night. For them, Samhain was not a holiday. It was a battle against the unseen. But travel east to Italy, and you will find a more intimate and unsettling custom. On All Souls' Day, families still prepare food not for themselves, but for the dead. In Sicily, children wake to find gifts of candy left by the spirits of ancestors. Yet some whisper that it is not always ancestors who come. In certain villages, the night is said to be filled with processions of the dead, marching through the streets, faceless and silent. Doors are locked, shutters closed, and offerings left outside to appease whatever might pass by. To see them is an omen of death. To ignore them is to invite disaster. Across the seas in Mexico, the Day of the Dead transforms cemeteries into realms of color and fire. But beneath the beauty lies a chilling idea. The dead return, and you must welcome them. Families gather around graves, lighting candles and preparing feasts as if expecting guests. Sugar skulls grin with bright colors, but their meaning is grim. Death is everywhere, smiling at you. Some tell of shadows lingering near the altars, waiting to be acknowledged. Others believe that if you forget to honor a soul, it wanders lost, bitter and vengeful. Imagine walking through a cemetery glowing with thousands of candles, marigold petals scattered like blood on the ground, and feeling unseen eyes staring from the dark between the tombs. In Japan, another festival calls the dead back, Obon. Lanterns are lit to guide spirits home, and families gather to welcome ancestors. But Obon carries a darker superstition. If a lantern is left unattended, if the flame dies before its time, it may not guide an ancestor at all, but something else. On certain nights, villagers speak of ghostly fires floating above rivers, of pale figures following the light. In some regions, dances are performed to confuse the spirits, so they do not cling to the living. Picture standing by a riverbank at night, with glowing lanterns drifting away, their reflections flickering like eyes in the water, and wondering if all of them will return, empty. Meanwhile, in Romania, where Dracula's shadow looms, Halloween traditions merge with something far older, the Night of the Spirits. In Transylvania, people once believed that on October nights, the dead and the demonic roamed freely. Garlic hung from doors, holy water sprinkled at thresholds, and bells rung to scare away what walked in the mist. Even today, villages reenact these ancient protections. But there are darker whispers, that the restless are not just souls, but vampires, hungry for life. In certain places, graves are still disturbed, bodies dug up and rituals performed to keep the dead from walking. For in Transylvania, the fear is not of spirits drifting, but of corpses rising. Travel to the Philippines, and you find the chilling practice of pangangalulua. Children and adults alike go door to door, not asking for candy, but singing songs for the souls trapped in purgatory. In older times, they wore white sheets, like ghosts, carrying candles through villages. Refusing them was considered dangerous, as it was believed to condemn souls to linger in suffering. Imagine the sound of mournful chanting echoing through the night, dozens of figures in pale cloth drifting past your house, their candles glowing like wandering spirits. In some rural areas, they say the songs are not just heard by the living, but answered by voices from the dark. In Cambodia, the festival of Chum Ben calls forth not friendly ancestors, but the hungry ghosts. For 15 days, families prepare offerings of food, believing that tormented spirits with enormous stomachs and tiny mouths wander the earth in agony. Temples fill with chants as monks pray to keep the restless at bay. But on the darkest nights, some say the hungry ghosts themselves stalk the living, their cries echoing through fields. Their suffering is endless, and their hunger insatiable. Imagine hearing wails outside your window long after midnight, and realizing it is not the wind, but something that wants what you cannot give. Meanwhile, in Haiti, during Fête Gede, the spirits of death themselves, called the Gede, come to dance. Cemeteries turn into places of music, rum, and ritual, but the celebration hides something sinister. The Gede are tricksters, unpredictable, sometimes benevolent, sometimes cruel. They wear dark glasses to shield mortal eyes from the gaze of the dead, and they speak in riddles. But to disrespect them, to mock them, is to invite curses. Some say that on Fête Gede, the boundary between dance and possession vanishes, and those who dance too wildly may not be themselves at all, but spirits wearing their flesh. In Nigeria, the Egungun festival is a spectacle of masks, drums, and ancestral spirits. Dancers dressed in elaborate costumes whirl and leap through the streets, embodying the dead who have returned. But behind the music and color lies fear. These spirits are not always kind. Some punish the wicked, some demand offerings, and some leave sickness in their wake. The costumes are more than decoration. They are vessels allowing the dead to step among the living, and when the drums stop and the dancers fall still, some whisper that not all the spirits leave. Finally, we return to America, where Halloween as we know it was born from these many roots. Yet even here, old superstitions remain. In parts of New England, people once believed witches were strongest on Halloween night. Black cats were hunted and fires lit to ward off the damned. Today, the holiday is drenched in candy and costumes, but beneath it all, fragments of fear still linger. The jack-o'-lanterns carved on porches are not just smiling faces, but echoes of those ancient turnips meant to ward off Jack's cursed soul. Trick-or-treating, now playful, began as offerings to wandering spirits, so they would not torment the household. Even the costumes we wear are shadows of disguises once meant to fool the dead. 10 traditions, 10 reflections of fear, ritual and remembrance, scattered across the world, but all bound by one truth. On this night, the veil is thin and the dead are never far. From the glowing fires of Samhain to the sugar skulls of Mexico, from Japan's lanterns to Transylvania's restless graves, Halloween and its cousins remind us of the same dark reality, that the dead do not always stay where they belong. So the next time you light a candle, carve a pumpkin, or put on a costume, ask yourself, are you celebrating, or are you protecting yourself? Because the spirits may not care which one you intended. And when the night grows cold and the shadows stretch long, you may realize that Halloween is not about pretending to be something else. It is about surviving when the things that wander in the dark come looking for you.